Hello everyone and welcome to my channel for another crochet sweater tutorial. Again, another top-down sweater with a beautiful color work for the yoke that it's not difficult at all to make. So I hope you like it. This will be really fun to make. So let's get started. Okay, so this is a round yoke sweater, and I choose to make this this color work that looks really beautiful, but it's actually made using simple stitches, and you will see right away how you can make it. The sleeves, I decided to topper them and make them a bit narrower. So we have 9 rows repeat for the yoke, and we will increase at every first row from the section, that single crochet row. We will change the color after every row except 2 rows in the pattern that are working the same color. I used some yarn that I had in my stash. So this is the first one, the Katia Concept Cotton Merino Fine. This is the first yarn that I used, and it's color A written in the pattern. This yarn is 70% cotton and 30% merino. And also I had this long yarn Noel in my stash, which is merino and polyamide mix, and because I noticed that this one is a bit thinner, I decided to use 2 strands of yarn held together. And we will be using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. So like this, because first I tried with only 1 strand of yarn, but yeah, you could see that the rounds worked in this yarn were a bit thinner, and I decided to use 2 strands of yarn. We will start using color A with the foundation chain. I'm making size extra small. I do recommend to follow this tutorial along with the written pattern, because for some bigger sizes you will need to add some extra row, that increased row that is not into the pattern repeat, and to achieve the required number of stitches. Now I chain 100, and I will work the first row without joining, because I don't want to twist it. And this first round will be an increase round, and we will work 2 single crochet, and into the third we will work 2 single crochet in the same stitch to make an increase. So the repeat section for this round will be 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches and 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And we will repeat to the end of the row. We will add with this increase row 33 stitches. For bigger sizes that you started with more stitches, then the first round will be the number of stitches that you chain divided by 3. Now we will join with this invisible slip stitch. So I'm going with the hook from the back through the front into the first stitch, and then I'm grabbing the working loop and pass it through that stitch. Now the second row we will switch to the color B, and I will simply take the next color and I will rejoin it. Just a minute. Okay. As I said, with this specific yarn that I'm using it as a contrast color, I decided to use 2 strands of yarn held together. And we will simply passing the loop through the loop that we have into the color A. And now we will start directly without a chain, and we will work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, then chain 1 and skip the next stitch and work 1 single crochet in next. I do recommend the chain stitches in between this single crochet to make sure that are a bit looser, because chain stitches tend to be tighter than the rest of the stitches, the single crochet stitches. And if you are making the chain stitches tighter, this round will be a bit smaller than the first one, and we don't want that. Now we will continue to the end of the row, and then after finishing with this row, we will chain 1 and skip the last stitch, and we will close the round. Same with that invisible slip stitch. It's not difficult at all, only that sometimes it's difficult to make everything looking through the camera. That's why it looks that I'm a bit struggling with this. Now we will change the color again, so we are not cutting the yarn, we simply carry on the yarn along. So now I took the color A, passed it through the loop, and now we will be working another round. Now I need to start in one of the 1 chain spaces, and you decide if you want to start into the next one or into the one in the back. It's up to you. The idea is that we need to start with 1 single crochet into the 1 chain space, and then we continue with 1 chain, skip 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet into the next 1 chain space, and we will continue to the end of the round. Okay, we finished the round, and now we will switch to color B again. I didn't show you again the slip stitch, as we did it already 2 times, and I think it's clear. Now what we will do with the 4th row, we will work 2 single crochet into each 1 chain space. Basically on this round is like 1 stitch into each stitch, but it will look nicer if we will not work into single crochet and into the chain stitch, but into the 1 chain space we will work 2 single crochet to look like a nice triangle with that is pointing down. So this is what we did on this round, just 2 single crochet into each 1 chain space. And this is the section where we are not changing to color A again. We will work another round with the same color, with the color B, and this round will be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So see how easy these stitches are, but how beautiful they look with this contrasting color yarn. After we finish this round, we will close it again with this slip stitch, and this time we will change to color A. And now we will repeat round 2. So we will work 1 single crochet again without making any chains at the beginning of the row. So just directly 1 single crochet, chain 1, skip 1 stitch and 1 single crochet in next. This is the same as the round number 2, only that round number 2 was in color B, and this time we have it in color A. We finished this row. Again, we need to chain, skip the last stitch and close the round. We will take the color B. So we are switching to color B, and now we will repeat round 3. Again, we need to start from one chain space, either the one in the back, the last that you made, or the one in the front. I'm looking where the line is, so I'm trying to keep it as straight as possible. So this time I will start with the next one chain space, the first one, not the last one. And we continue with one single crochet into the one chain space, chain 1, skip the single crochet stitch, and repeat to the end of the round. We don't have too many rows left from the repeated section from the yoke. Now we will close this around and switch to color A. So this light green that I think it's called, this color is called whitish green, which I find it super cute. And now we will start working with double crochet stitches, and I chose to start the starting stitch to make 2 stocked single crochet, and I'm starting from the one chain space behind, but again you can start in the one in the front if you want. And we will work 2 double crochets into each one chain space. Again, this round, as you calculated, is like 1 double crochet in each stitch, but we are working 2 double crochet into each one chain space, because after we will be working the next round, it will look like the nice zigzag, or I don't know how to call it, but actually they will be looking as V stitches. So work 2 double crochet into each one chain space. After finishing the row, we will close the round with the same invisible slip stitch. I'm going with the hook into the first stitch. And now we will switch to color B. And what we will do for this round, we will work in between the 2 double crochet stitches that form that group of 2 double crochet that makes that V, and we will work in between those stitches 2 double crochets, so like this. But make sure that you are working 2 double crochet in between the 2 stitches that are into the same space. Yes, not into in between them. And we will repeat working like this to the end of the row, and this will be the last round from our repeated section. So the yoke is looking nice and beautiful. I really love how this is looking so far. And now we will repeat from round 1, and we will have another increase round. Remember that we increased at every 3rd stitch, so now we need to increase at every 4th stitch. And this will happen adding 1 stitch in between the increases will happen also on our next increase round. So now I'm switching to the color A, and we will work 4 single crochet. No, 3 single crochet. We will increase that every 4th stitch. And into the 4th single crochet, we need to work 2 single crochets into the 4th stitch. And we will repeat with 1 single crochet into the first 3 stitches, and then into the 4th we will work 2 single crochet. And we will repeat to the end of the round. At the end of the second increase round, we will have an uneven number of stitches, because for these sizes and for sizes up to size large, we are increasing with an uneven number of stitches per round, which is 33. So on the first increase, we had an even number of stitches, but now after the second increase round we have an uneven number of stitches. Now starting with this second row from the repeated section, we need an even number of stitches, because most of the rounds are worked in a multiple of 2. So this means that we will need to increase 1 stitch here in order that our patterns or stitch patterns in every row will work. But remember that on the next increase round we will need to get rid of that stitch, because otherwise we will end up with an uneven number of stitches again. So to add that stitch on this round will be super easy. We simply chain 1, and this will be that extra stitch that we needed. We don't have a stitch to skip with this chain 1, but it's fine. We just need to add that stitch, and then we will close the round as usual. So now we already started to work on the section number 2 of our yoke. For this size, for size extra small that I'm making, we will have in total 3 sections. So we will have another increase round after we finish the second section. For sizes up to size large, you will have some increases round after finishing these 3 sections in colorwork, but those increase rounds will be worked into the stitch pattern of the body, into the half double crochet stitches, and you can check the written pattern to know how to work the stitches. The idea is that we needed a few more stitches to add to complete the body circumference stitches, and we are adding those stitches after finishing this repeated section, this color work. So if you're finishing these 3 sections and you're trying your sweater and see that you need a few more stitches, those stitches you need to add them into your couple of 3 to 4 rows that you are making after this color work pattern. For size that I'm making, size extra small, I finished the yoke with the color work pattern, and now we will split it into the sleeves and body. So we will continue to work into the color A from now on, and I will start working in half double crochet stitches, and I will use as a first stitch 1 single crochet on top of the other. And then I will continue with the back panel stitches. And for the back panel, for the size extra small that I'm making, I will have 60 stitches. I use the stitch marker to mark the stitches around the yoke, and I will have 60 for back and front and 39 stitches for the sleeves. After I finish the stitches for the back, we will chain 14 stitches for the armpit chains, and then we will skip 39 stitches for the sleeve, and I will go into the next stitch marker and continue working with the front panel stitches, and I will have again 60 stitches, the same as for the back. So now we will be working 60 stitches for the back, for the front, sorry. And then we will chain 14 again for the other armpit. And then we will skip the second sleeve stitches and we will join with the first stitch in the round. Now, to keep the joining line straight, I will alternate starting one row from the second stitch and one row from the first stitch. So now I'm starting with the second stitch. But when you're starting with the second stitch, don't forget to work that first stitch last, the one that you skipped. Otherwise, you will decreasing with one stitch on these rounds. I realized that if you're alternating like so, the joining line is not moving to the right, is actually keeping straight. So here I am. I do have that last stitch, which is the first one on my previous round, that I will need to work one half double crochet in it. And I will continue to alternate like this and work 26 rounds in total for the length, only in half double crochet stitches. And at the bottom of the sweater, we will add one repeated section from the yoke, from the colorwork pattern. This is not mandatory. If you want, you can just simply go and finish the sweater length with the ribbing. But remember to, when you are adjusting the length, if you want to make it shorter or longer, and you want to add that section in the colorwork pattern, remember to adjust the length according with that. So to stop working in half double crochet stitches with approximately 6 centimeter up. Yeah, so this is one sleeve that I already worked. And now after 26 rounds in half double crochet, we will start with this colorwork pattern. So I will switch to color B, but we will skip from the colorwork pattern the single crochet round at the beginning, because we already have only in color A this half double crochet stitches. So we will start with the second round in the pattern. So I will start with one single crochet, chain one, skip one stitch, and work one single crochet in next. Yeah, so basically we will repeat from row number 2 to row number 9, the same colorwork pattern that we worked into the yoke. And yeah, so now the next round will be in color A, again with the moss stitch, then these 2 rounds in color B in single crochet stitches, and we will continue until we repeat that section. After we finish working the same rows as into the yoke pattern, we can cut the contrasting color again. And before starting working on the ribbing, we will work one round in single crochet stitches using the color A. Yeah, so just one single crochet into each stitch. After finishing the single crochet round, we will start working on the ribbing, and we will chain I chain 9 stitches or maybe 10 to make the ribbing of 9 stitches, but depending on how wide you want this ribbing to be, you can adjust the number of stitches that you will work. And then we will turn and work single crochet into each stitch to the end of that row. And then to connect this ribbing row with the bottom of the sweater, we will work one slip stitch into the next 2 stitches of the sweater edge. Then we will turn and skip those 2 slip stitches and work one single crochet into the back loop only in every stitch except the last one. For the last stitch, I will work the single crochet through both loops. Then chain 1 and turn, work one single crochet through both loops as a first stitch, and then continue with one single crochet into the back loop only. And when we get to the end of the row, we will slip stitch into the next 2 stitches of the sweater edge. And we will continue to repeat these 2 rows until we finish the entire circumference of the sweater. If you want, you can switch to a smaller crochet hook size if you want this ribbing to be tighter, denser. You can switch to a smaller hook size. After we finish the entire circumference, we will join the ribbing edges using slip stitches. Making sure that you're getting with the hook through both sides. For the last row, I will pick up only the front loop, how I'm looking at the ribbing, because I want to the back loop to show up on the front side and make this joining as less visible as possible. And we will continue with all the 9 stitches that we have for the ribbing width. And after we finish to join this bottom hem ribbing, we can move to the sleeves. Here we can cut the yarn. And this is the body of the sweater. Now for the sleeves, we will rejoin at the armpit. I choose to make a few decreases for the sleeve to taper the sleeve, but this is not mandatory. We will finish the sleeve with the same border into the colorwork pattern of the yoke. But first, let's rejoin at the armpit. I'm trying to rejoin the yarn into the middle of the armpit stitches, and I will reconnect the yarn. I will go in between the half double crochet stitches to make this joining. If you go only into the remaining loops of the chain at the armpit, it will be too thin, and I will start with the same stitch, 2 stock single crochet, and then we will continue with 1 half double crochet into each of the armpit stitches. And for this first round we will need to go over the side row of the body, and to avoid having a gap there, we will work 2 half double crochet together. So this over the body side row. I'm trying to insert the hook into a place where it's not a gap, so we will be working 2 stitches together, as otherwise if I'm going from the armpit chain right into the sleeve stitches, it will create a gap there. And then we can move forward and go with the half double crochet stitches. If you have a gap there as well, you can go with 1 stitch, working another 2 half double crochet together, working into the last stitch of the body and the stitch of the sleeve. On the other end we will do the same. So first I'm going into the last stitch of the sleeve, and then into the stitch of the body, and work 2 half double crochet together, and then into the side row again, trying to get with the hook through that stitch and not under, and working again 2 half double crochet together. Okay. And now we will continue with the armpit stitches to work to the end of the row. At the end of the row we will close the round with the same invisible slip stitch, and as I said we will do some decreases, but the first 3 rounds will be 1 half double crochet into each stitch. The first three rounds, counting this one, the first one as well. So we will work 2 more rounds in half double crochet stitches, and then we will work a decrease. So now after working the 3 rounds, we will work the first stitch, and then the second and the third, we will work them together to make that decrease. And then we will continue with 1 half double crochet into each stitch until we have 2 stitches left. So we will decrease 1 stitch at the beginning and 1 stitch at the end of the row. Now for the next section, we will decrease at the 5th round. So now I will work not 3 but 4 rounds in half double crochet stitches, and this is how I alternating. Once I decreases at the 4th round, 1 at 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 5th, until I reach the desired length without that section. So you need to take into consideration that section into the colorwork stitch pattern. I worked in total 36 rounds, decreasing fourth round, fifth round, fourth round, fifth round, fourth round, fifth round. If you want, you can decrease all the way only into the fifth round, because I think that there will be enough stitches that will be decreased. Now, after completing the length of the sleeve, we will switch again to the contrasting color to work that section into the colorwork pattern of the yoke. This will be the same as we did for the body, only that we will work with less stitches. If you have an uneven number of stitches of this for the sleeve, you will add one more stitch in the same way as we did for the yoke. So now let's work these repeated rounds for this border of the sleeve, and then of course we will work the ribbing. Now the first round is the same as for the body, with the most stitch in the color B, and we will repeat from row 2 to row 9. The last row will be that V stitch in the color B, and then we will work one more row in single crochet stitches. So here I am, I finished the last row. And then you can cut the color B yarn and start working one round in single crochet stitches. Okay, now with the ribbing, again for the ribbing you can start with as many stitches as you want, depending on how wide you want this ribbing cuff to be. I will work 9 or 8 stitches, and then we will follow the same process as for the body hem ribbing. So I'm turning, working one single crochet into each stitch to the end of the row, and then we will connect the ribbing rows with the sleeves edge with slip stitches. So I will work one slip stitch into the next 2 stitches of the sleeve. Then turn, skip those 2 slip stitches and work just in the back loop only, single crochet stitches except the last stitch. Into that edge stitch we will work the single crochet through both loops, both in forward and in turning row. So now through both stitches and chain 1 and turn, continue with the back loop until we get to the end of the row, and we will continue and repeat these 2 rows until we finish with the entire circumference of the sleeve. Again, if you want to switch to a smaller hook size, depending maybe your tension is a bit looser into the stitch pattern and you want your cuff to be narrower, then you can switch to a smaller hook size. Now we join the edges of the ribbing in the same manner as we did with the body, and of course that you will need to repeat the same pattern of the sleeve for the other sleeve. And now we will work a small ribbing for the collar as well. We will work into the same ribbing pattern, so the same single crochet into the back loop only, This time I will use the 4mm crochet hook, and we will be making this collar ribbing thinner. So I'm doing it of 6 stitches only, because I didn't want it to make the collar or the neckline too higher. That's why I decided to make it smaller. And we will do the same with single crochet into the back loop only. At the end of this row, we will go and slip stitch into the next stitches of the collar. Then turn, skip those 2 slip stitches and work into the back loop only. And we will continue in the same manner as we did for the bottom hem ribbing and the sleeves ribbing. It's nothing special with this collar ribbing and nothing different, except that it's shorter. So this is the only difference that we have for this collar, and I chose to work with a smaller hook size. And I do recommend for the neckline, as we want to make it shorter, not to look as a tube, but to look that is containing that the yoke is just a bigger circle of the ribbing. So now let's continue and work on this collar ribbing, and then we will join the edges in the same way. So using slip stitches, we will join these edges, and after we finish with this collar or neckline ribbing, the sweater is done. We just need to weave in the ends that we have and block it and wear it with pleasure. I do hope that you will like to make the sweater. I think the options for colors are really endless. Even it looks like you have only 2 colors to choose from, but I think there are plenty of options. You can use for the contrasting color even variegated yarn, and it will look really beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to check the written pattern that is on my blog, and to follow that written pattern along with this tutorial, especially if you're making a bigger size. It will be really helpful. The pattern, the written pattern, can be found in PDF format also in my shops and on my website. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here with me for another crochet tutorial. I wish you all happy holidays, and see you soon. Bye.